They say the sun never sets on the English Empire. But can we set a record time as the sun sets over Longshanks' domain? Ach, Cameron, you'd nae believe how broad this thing is. We arrived in England after the glorious run in Malaysia to chew gum and kick Mamluk, Scot and Welsh ass. And I'm all out of ass. Our journey begins in Hereford, where Longshanks was imprisoned by his barons in an unforgivable act of treason. You see, the situation is bad when we ally with the French. There are a few ways out of the city, but I chose the tower as the others are better protected. I don't think jumping out of the tower is safe, Gilbert. Luckily they listened to me and used the back door. No one suspects a thing, and we march on to the inn. Upon arrival, everyone gets a horse, and we are tasked with going to Worcester to plot a revenge. The baronial forces patrol the way heavily, but I have no time for this bullshit, and just run past them. Worcester becomes ours to command, as Edward gives an inspiring speech to the townsfolk. We are playing as Britons here, so the play is pretty straightforward. Longbowmen. Lots and lots of longbowmen. And for that we need a little castle here. Took you long enough, Simon? Come at me. And apparently the sheep lovers decide to take their side. Our army is raised pretty quickly, and for maximum efficiency, it's composed only of pikemen and archers. The pikemen block the cavalry, and the archers rain hell. Because the baronial forces are mainly composed by cavalry and infantry, we are able to wipe them off with little resistance, even taking out Simon in the process for the sweet achievement. The goal becomes dealing with the castle in Kenilworth, as it is the way to subjugate these rabid peasants. Learn from my mistakes and garrison the rams, please. Like this, so the rams are faster and do more damage. But pay attention, as the little tanks are very fragile to melee attacks. Meanwhile, I should build another castle here just in case. I am an oracle. Anyways, let's finish what we started in Kenilworth. It only takes 3 pounds from the rams, and Kenilworth learns that defying the king doesn't go well in medieval England. We send everyone back to Worcester, and once the armies meet, the march moves north towards the Welsh. Did you know that around this time the Welsh invented a condom using sheep intestines? And about 100 years later, the English perfected it by removing the intestines from the sheep first. The Welsh here are a bigger threat to the longbowmen due to the skirmishers, but not even that much, and in no time the town centre falls. Unfortunately, the Welsh were smart and split their base in two, forcing us to move a bit south for their castle. Castle which we were a bit unprepared for. We'll be back soon for it. But since I'm always ready for the inevitable failure, another army was awaiting orders back in Worcester. And to avoid troubles, we divide the army with control groups, which after 23 years playing this game, I finally decided to learn. And garrisoning rams. Aren't you all proud of me? Rams run at the castle while the knights hunt enemy soldiers, and the longbowmen just hang around. An unstoppable tactic. A sensible change of mind, Mr. Welsh. Mr. Welsh. Only one town left needed to subjugate. Didn't I kill you half an hour ago? Hereford is the town chosen as the last target for 2 reasons. Their town centre is a quick target, and revenge for imprisoning us. Their army is a weak mix of crossbowmen and sergeants, so we have no issues conquering the city. What this man has in legs, he also has in sass. Vain ambition ended in 57 minutes and 39 seconds. Despite his triumphant victory over the traitorous barons, Longshanks was still doubted by his court, so he did what was fashionable at the time. He went on a crusade. As the Mamluks grew stronger in the Middle East, Edward rallied his armies to Accra and Tripoli to defend both cities from the godless degenerates. And here is where we play to the Britons' strength, defending fortifications. Naturally, he wants me to do the opposite of what I prepared for. Destroy Mamluk camps ease up for us, so we march to destroy everything in our path. Joining us today is the Crusader Order, which according to the wiki is beyond useless, so I don't put much of a thought into it. But we send them on the offensive anyways, since they're here and all. They only sent a few units, but I mean, it's Cavaliers and Tudor Knights. Destroying the camps not only stops the Mamluk advance, but also gives us some sweet new techs. So we march on to spread the word of Yorkshire tea and beans on toast. The play against these camps is luring the soldiers out and raining lead on them. Wait, how did Cocoon fall? I'll have to find out later, as the heretics are coming for me. Maybe I can clutch the trade workshop. Oh, no, it's okay, I'll come back. Good I didn't overextend, as Tripoli needs rescuing. Maybe the Templars aren't as useless as the wiki said. The Mongols show up out of nowhere and offer to help, but first they ask me to send a unit to have a chat with them. Okay, not this one. I just hope these Mongols are cooler than the ones in Gajamade, and don't betray me after. The envoy arrives, and the Ilkhanate asks for 500 gold in exchange for help. Not a problem, Mr. Mongol.
A bargain well
Outstanding voice acting here. Let's hope the help keeps the standard. Seems like they're not wasting time. Good, good. Who's destroying all these cities? The danger comes from the seas in this wave, but they seem to have forgotten that Britannia rule the waves. Tripoli is under attack again, and is defended again. Since their offensive was so weak and pathetic, I decided to mount one myself to show how it's done. See, Aleppo? This is how it's done. Oh, I'm sure you guys can deal with this one. I ran out of shit to destroy, so I guess I'll help. Out east, the Mongols continue to bravely throw bodies at the castle. They're coming after my walls. Send help. Didn't you hear who rules the waves? Apparently not. I don't get why the wiki called the Crusaders useless, because they did God's work here. Get it? God's work? I'm bored. Let's bully Aleppo a bit more. Aleppo didn't like that. But it was too late. Baibars didn't manage to break the power of Christianity, and Accra and Tripoli are safe in 1 hour and 17 seconds. With the successful crusade, Longshanks proved himself as a fierce leader, but that wasn't enough for him. He was still bitter at the Welsh, because why wouldn't he be? Edward knew a level battlefield could go either way, so he decided to be a pro and forward castle the shit out of the Welsh. And we must defend the villagers while we build them. Buddy, I like the energy, but I just wiped the floor with Mamluks. You stand no chance. The first castle is built, and we must run to the second one. The Welsh army is much weaker than ours, but microing the units to avoid losses here is crucial. They're really talkative in this campaign. Shame they're not funny. There's only one castle left to be built, but it's also protected by fortified towers, so we're good. Ugh, every time I try to predict something positive. But the castle is built nonetheless, and the objective changes to defend them. So I'll build walls here for safety. Also here. And in this corner as well. We're also told to not sit in our asses and go kill Dafydd and Lewin. I need this little bridge walled as well. Walling is probably the best move I've done in this campaign. Yeah, eat my dick, whales. And as soon as I get this bad boy, they'll suffer from even further. That won't save you from the might of the crooked thief. They come again, but this time I'm even more prepared. Seriously, is there a prettier building in the game than the Western European Keep? I feel that knights and longbowmen last scenario was a very good combo, so I upped the ante this time and used cavaliers. Killing the princes is not the only way to win. We can also annihilate the Welsh army, and according to the wiki, both take the same amount of time. The range on the Briton army is just insane. I feel that since I have already wasted some minutes on the Welsh camp, it makes sense to just go after the army. Also cause they don't seem to have castles or walls anywhere, and the Trebs flatten their camps in seconds. We scout their town centers in the back of the map, and they're completely unprotected, so the destruction is even faster than before. Being completely honest, oftentimes I feel a bit bad invading a country in the game because they're usually just living their lives until I show up. But I've been to Wales, and the 5 people that live there kinda have it coming. Like, why on earth would you do this to the poor sheep? Can't you just bang your cousins like the rest of England? I gotta say though, their flag is one of the coolest around. Having a dragon there is pretty sick. Although it brings up another point about all of Great Britain's nature. It's boring. Wales has a dragon as the national animal, Scotland has a unicorn, and England a lion. That should say it all. Wiping the Welsh camps took no effort at all, but they're still not resigning. I must be missing something. Ah, there it is. Just gotta lure them away from the towers, and rain arrows. They finally realize there's no stopping Edward. About time. Jesus, I thought I'd have to lay waste to all living beings there. Longshanks subdue Wales with forward castles masterfully, in 1 hour, 3 minutes and 47 seconds. The sheep were safe, the Welsh put in their places. But it was too late. Edward got a taste for blood. And Berwick was acting up, so it was a natural next stop. Dealing with Berwick should be an easy task as they have no economy, just a set army garrisoned inside the city. The problem is up north with the Scots not very happy with my presence in their backyard. They'll attack in half an hour, and according to the wiki it's a heavy attack, so I should focus on that first. But they'll be coming by this tiny narrow bridge, so a castle here should give us an edge. If I can get past the wildlife, that is. I also need the university here, and the monastery here. Not because I'll use them, but because I need Imperial Age, and they didn't give me a single Castle Age building. Another castle up the cliffs, you can never be too sure with those choke points. I'll also get some pikemen in case they send cavalry. Now we garrison the shit out of the castles, and get a monastery a bit behind for heals. Eat a vegan buffet of cock's bellio. I'm ready for you. 9 minutes left until the Scots show up, and the army starts rolling out. I think I'll be able to defend like this. Or I'll have to, no more population space. Come at me, bitch. I'm ready. I may have overprepared for this. At least we can roll into their base without any issues, and as predicted, they're training cavalry. Say no more, boss. We'll torch everything and everyone. Let me bring some trebs just in case. There's a very attractive secondary objective here, stealing the Stone of Scone. Something about Scottish coronation or something. The AI is very brave trying to rebuild right in my face. Inside their camp, the streets are littered in Scottish soldiers and peasants. We split the army in half and sent them to go steal the stone. They didn't really have any defenses, and we captured the relic fairly quickly and sent the extraction back to the torching. It's funny to think cavalry is supposed to counter archers. Yeah, you should just quit now and save me the time. But they refuse to quit, and I must keep plowing until it happens, sadly. But I think I can start redirecting the troops down to Berwick, as I don't bet on the Scots lasting much longer. See? Like the Oracle from 300. We should still put his head on a spike to show what happens when you disrespect long socks. So Berwick, now we go after the gold. And fairly quickly the whole army is there and ready to pound the city into submission. I don't know exactly the trigger to make Berwick resign, but we run headfirst at everything we can attack. They have a camp outside the walls, but nothing crazy to deal with. Inside, we keep finding more targets, and shortly after, they admit defeat, and Scotland tremble at the thundering sound of the Briton boots. In 1 hour, 20 minutes and 7 seconds. Longshanks had a dream to unite all of Britain under his crown, and only Scotland was missing, more specifically, the Stirling Castle. So he set out to build the world's largest trebuchet, because size does matter. We must protect the villagers while they gather everything to build the medieval doomsday weapon. There's a little fun fact about the Warwolf trebuchet. Longshanks did build it in reality as big as it is portrayed here, and the Scots tried to surrender in fear the castle would be obliterated. But Edward sent the surrender party back, saying that they didn't deserve the right to surrender, and proceeded to blast the castle to oblivion. Out of pettiness. I love this man. Anyways, villagers protected successfully, and we researched the Almighty. It looks like a normal treb, but soon we'll put this bad boy to wipe off Scotland from the map. But first, let me get rid of Robert the Bruce. He's our ally in the beginning, but I know the little shit betray us, so we're taking a different route in this scenario. There's an old friend of ours down south that we must deal with first. Mr. Braveheart is here. Our paths finally cross the opposite way, and unlike that historical mess from the tutorial campaign, we must defeat Mel Gibson like what happened back in the day. God damn it, they have onagers everywhere. I just have to lure them out in the open somehow. I love the accuracy in this monster. The army here is very limited, so caution is paramount to survival. Not like I'll do that when there's onagers, but it works out in the end. Just Mel Gibson missing, and the little racist refuses to pursue my knights. Fine, I'll blast him from orbit then. With Braveheart out of the way, we march north to finish dealing with Robert, who has a massive camp across the river. Oh Jesus, that's scary to watch. Ah, Cameron, you'd nae believe how broad this thing is. As the army watches the majestic weapon, the first castle falls. We move further into their camp, and everyone flocks around to watch the biggest marvel of medieval warfare ever seen, lobbing 135 kilo boulders from almost out of screen. In no time, only some houses and rubble remain standing as the Warwolf strolls around. It's a shame their camp is so big, and the loup de guerre can only attack once every few seconds. In a daring move, the Warwolf is unpacked on a bridge. Malcolm, what do you reckon this means? Annihilation. It means annihilation. Oh no, am I stuck on the bridge? I swear to God I'm gonna lose my shit if I have to restart because of... Oh, never mind. Is it wrong to cheese the game this way? Possibly, but I have played this scenario before and let me tell you, I couldn't even defeat the Stirling garrison without failing miserably. And I'm in an even bigger pickle now with only 10 soldiers left. Luckily, they're stuck inside, and I have 12 range. So my only option is bullying them from outside the walls. But Metsamias, you could have just played normally and fought with the starting troops. Like I said before, I've played this before, and failed miserably. This is an attempt to avoid that disgrace. So I've cleaned as much as the inside as I could before breaking the gates, and managed to wipe the garrison with 6 soldiers left. Oh, don't worry boss, it's been done already. But Robert's forces are still there, so castles are vital. No, Eimer, I killed John. I finally have a camp, so the goal becomes building an army to fight Robert. And some scorpions to help against the infantry. Didn't I drop a huge rock on top of you before? The Scottish army doesn't want to watch the show anymore, and follow my scouts all the way under the castle. And we go after the rest. Of course I brought the Warwolf with me. The terror must come from all distances. But since I have wiped most of their base beforehand, the name of the game becomes War Crimes. They try sending whatever troops they have left to stop me, but it's to no avail. Robert resigns from the grave, and the kingdom is united, in a god-awful 1 hour, 22 minutes and 16 seconds. Total runtime, 5 hours, 44 minutes and 7 seconds. The times were pretty meh here, but besides the last scenario where I wasted a lot of time cheesing the AI, I don't see many ways to make this quicker. This whole campaign is very long in its essence and full of staggered objectives. That's not to say it's bad. Longshanks was a man full of spite and ambition, and it resulted in a sick campaign throughout Great Britain and the Middle East. The partial time is now at 130 hours, 30 minutes and 42 seconds. We only have 7 campaigns left, but it seems Bulgaria is the next destination, so grab your Morning Star, cause Ivilo awaits us.